Alright guys, we are here. The hype is real. Niz is with me, I hope.
I am.
He is, and we have Jigga versus Losers. I've been hyping up this game in the chat. I'm actually really excited for it. Last week we saw Jigga play really well against Team Red Bulls and actually pull out a victory against another very strong North American stack. But here we have an even stronger North American stack. You guys might have heard of Whitebeard playing on Sna. We have Chaikin MC, who's an older and a competitive player. Been around for a while, but hasn't really shown up too much lately. Also Felony, and I'm not entirely sure who iAnnihilate is, or Jay, but I assume if they're playing with those players, they should all be decent. So honestly, a very experienced team in the North American, South American scene coming out of Jigga, and talent coming out of the Radiant Dire side. So it's going to be an interesting clash this game. And Lycan, Brewmaster already banned out. No, it's all good. Just Lycan and Brewmaster banned out, as well as Doom for Jigga.
I'm just checking to see if there's any aliases here that we might recognize for these two players.
10 seconds to go.
Jigga,
5.
not sure what they're going to want to ban with that Doom. Honestly, I try not to talk about the first two bans too much right now. Dota's actually in a very nice place. I guess I'll use this time to talk about it. In my opinion, where, like, honestly, the beginning of the draft is more about setting up your play and your strategy more than it is about like getting important heroes. Like some people say, oh, Void and Tinker and like you know all these heroes that have been banned, but the fact is that you could probably name 12 heroes who you think absolutely dominate the game and win the game outright in the current like meta, if that's how you want to look at it. So I really like the way that Dota is right now, where honestly the game is not at all dictated until the second phase of the draft, which is when it should be dictated, because that's when you get your third and fourth heroes and their lineups truly come into fruition. But with a Tinker pickup, that's a little bit opposite of what I'm saying. We're going to show our strat, right? Like when you pick a Tinker, you're not going to have a lot of farm on the map for the rest of your team. A lot of your strategy is going to rely on Tinker getting online and doing a lot, and when Tinker is online, he does a lot. That's just kind of how that hero works.
Yeah, a pick like this Tinker in this position is really kind of this is our strategy, and we're so comfortable picking this Tinker that it's on you to stop us. So they obviously feel really confident with their Tinker play here. Maybe even underestimating their opponent. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we haven't seen Tinker all tournament long, but we definitely know he's a very strong hero and definitely rising in popularity in the meta right now, especially in the pro scene. So.
Clockwork and Shadow Shot him. I really like that because of their gank potential. It's kind of two separate tiers of ganking potential, and what I mean by that is Shadow Shaman's gank does work throughout the entire game, but he's really strong early on with his roaming and ganking potential. And so they can use that to gank Tinker in the laning phase and prevent him from coming online at a decent time. And then the Clockwork works later on into the game, because the Flare gives you vision of in the trees to see the Tinker. And obviously that hook is absolutely devastating when you have Battery Assault and the good cogs. And just the skill set of those two heroes put together is really what they need to be able to control the Tinker, and I really do like that response after that Tinker pickup. But they will pick up a Abaddon, and that's a very defensive pickup, but once you've picked up a Tinker, I think that could actually do a lot for them, and it's also very uncommon. A lot of people would not really don't like Abaddon in the competitive scene, but personally I think the hero is really strong because he has like a Wraith King-esque effect as a support, in the sense that you can never go on Abaddon first. And if you can't kill him, then he's just going to constantly debuff the stuns and silences with a Photic Shield, as well as heal your team with Mist Coil. And then his passive is something that honestly gets looked over a lot. I mean, I even just mentioned it third. Actually, technically fourth instead of third, because I mentioned his ult, not wanting to go on him. But Abaddon is just a strong hero. I really like him. Faceless Void will get banned out, though, by Jigga, and I think that's definitely a smart decision, considering you don't want to deal with a Tinker and a Faceless Void.
Yeah, Abaddon used to be really popular, and then he kind of fell out of popularity, and then Tranquil Boots came back, and then we started seeing him again, and then he just kind of faded away again. But he's always been a hero who's kind of lingered around. He hasn't been a top pick. He hasn't even been seen in most games, but he's always a hero that you can pick, and his abilities have always been strong. They've changed them so much. Minor tweaks here, buffing this, nerfing this between his heal and his shield, because they've been so close to either too strong or
5
too weak.
seconds.
But I think in this game it'll work well for them.
Yeah.
The shield is great against Shadow Shaman. Just
Reserve
kind of
time.
removing anything that Shadow Shaman does, and of course the heal is always good.
Well, that's what I like about Abaddon is the defensive nature that he provides. But Jigga is going to go ahead and
Dyer's pit.
again, we're actually seeing a very similar draft to what we saw them beat Red Bulls. If we see a Night Stalker out of this, as well as do you recall what the carry hero they ran that game was? I can't recall off the top of my head, but they had a Night Stalker mid.
I think it might have been Marana.
Yes, Marana, that's what it was. So honestly, they could be looking for the same draft, but Abaddon is really good against these kind of drafts because he basically nullifies all of the offense that you have, and
Radiant's pick.
this is a very bold statement coming out of Derp here, because if they get behind at all against the Shadow Shaman Enchantress pushing potential and then the Shadow Shaman Clockwork ganking potential, they currently do not have any mechanism to catch up. If Tinker doesn't get bots by 12 minutes and, Morphling is shut down relatively hard,
10 seconds.
I don't
to
know
go.
what you do. But that being said, they still have 2 picks to work with, and I was
5 seconds.
touting a lot of Abaddon, and I really think Abaddon does give them something, right? Because, yeah, you can try to gank, but if
Reserve
Abaddon
time.
is aware of where you're going, he'll always stop the gank. You just can't burst through that extra 100 HP up to 200 HP plus the heal if he's already in position.
This Dire lineup just screams, "Come win the game." Like, if you screw up one team fight, if you hesitate to push or whatever, you're just not gonna win. We're just gonna
Dyer's
take you late game, and we're just gonna win. We're gonna turtle up, and we're just gonna win late game. And there's the Night Stalker. So maybe this is the exact draft that Jigga has played before,
Well, and sorry, go ahead.
and it did well to win early. So
Yeah, and that's what I like about it is you never want the other team's thought games to affect you in a sense where you I don't know how I want to explain this,
10
but the Radiant team
seconds to go.
doesn't go, well, our lineup is kind of good at winning early, but they
5
just picked 2 late game
seconds.
heroes, so let's try to get some late game potential. They're like, no, we're gonna go and we're going to take your bet. We're gonna
Reserve
bite that cookie and we're gonna go for it. And Disruptor is actually a really strong pickup here because they're gonna be consistently running at them. Obviously with the Hook and Night Stalker and Shadow Shaman Enchantress, and the Glimpse will just allow them to peel back targets to make the fights a little bit easier. But the other thing about Disruptor too is that the playpen as well as the ulti are really good at changing and stalling fights. But I really just want to emphasize, I like the psychology coming out of Andoy, just saying, look, you're gonna try to bait us into it, that's fine, we're gonna take the bait, but we're gonna just beat you early.
10 seconds.
So
Yeah.
I hope you're ready.
and
5
I don't know if
seconds.
maybe they are underestimating their opponents here, but Jigga is definitely showing that
Reserve time.
they came into this game with a plan, and they're not gonna bail out of their plan and try to pick up late game and stuff. They're confident that they can, execute and win this game early.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see. They do ban out the Tidehunter. I like that a lot, because that is a hero that, regardless of how well you're winning the game, one good Ravage, one good double Ravage, it can completely change a fight. And again, you were saying that whole, yeah, come and fight us, but if you screw up one fight, we have a Tinker and we have a Morphling. So I really like that decision. The Dire's at a little bit of a loss here. They do have a lot of time, though, to get this ban. But honestly, Jigga has a lot of heroes. I really think there isn't a hero they can ban that can really stymie Jigga's strategy, because there's just too many aggressive heroes left in the pool. They could even do something like a Chaos Knight carry. And Chaos Knight is an extremely strong late game hero, but in the mid game with his Phantasm, the new change to it, and he gets that extra illusion, you can just run train through things. And they will go with a Sniper. Very interesting decision here. I think this is... I think they did this... We saw this last tournament. I can't remember, but we saw a Sniper versus another very unconventional carry. The Sniper just didn't end up working out, but...
Who's gonna get to the Sniper on this Dire team?
Tinker with his Blink, but again, that's assuming Tinker gets to that point. And that's where the Radiant side's going to say that no, you don't get your Blink, you don't get your E-Blade, you don't
10
get these
seconds
expensive
to go.
items, because we're going to push you, we're going to gank you,
5
and that
seconds.
farm's going to go straight to our Sniper.
Yeah, but then
Reserve
the Radiant team
time.
can even play around that. So you know what? Our sniper can sit back, get a range of tower, it's just pegging away. And you know, you want to initiate with a Tinker blinking in on our sniper? We're just going to turn and blow up your Tinker.
I really like this, and you know, it's Derp here having a little bit of a thought on the last pick. This definitely was a premeditated pick from Jigga because they literally spent almost no time picking up that sniper. So they know what they want to do, and I'm excited for this game for that sole reason. I really liked Jigga's play last week because, you know, Red Bulls is a strong team and great players in their own rights, but Jigga just really controlled that
10
game, and
seconds
I love
to
the
go.
way that they won the mid and early game and just closed it out. And if they can do the exact same thing here, they will win this game. And Sand King, a very greedy,
Radiance.
another greedy pickup here. I really feel like the Dire is playing the double-edged sword kind of the right way because they know after the Disruptor pickup, like, their lineup is inherently greedy, and there's nothing they're going to be able to do to really fix it. And not to say make it more greedy, but pick up greedy heroes that are still going to help you a lot in that mid game. And Sand King with a Blink Dagger can change the way fights break down and where and when they happen. And that'll be helpful. But again, Tinker, Morphling, and Sand King all have that caveat. They can do what they do if they get their farm, and that's it.
Here's the question. Who's offlane for the Dire side? Is it Abaddon?
I was thinking Abaddon or Sand King personally.
Seconds to go.
I think it's Abaddon.
Jay will pick up the support.
5
The
seconds.
Disruptor is definitely a support here, no questions there. Tinker
Yeah.
should go middle.
I think they may even be going super greed. The Abaddon and the offlane and the
Well,
Sand King jungle.
I'm going to go ahead and introduce the Radiant team while we are waiting for them to pick the last few of their heroes. So for Team Jigga,
Interesting.
in the quarterfinals, I believe, we have Andoy, the captain, picking up the support Enchantress. Ramdesel Te Gonzalez, the second, picking up the mid Night Stalker, I assume, just Beyonce, picking up their carry sniper. We have She's All That, again on this support Shadow Shaman. And JNS, that Clockwork we saw yesterday, going to town. I am excited to see what he is bringing to the table for this game because he is an integral part for his team.
All right, and on the Dire side, we have Derp playing the Sand King. We have Whitebeard on the Morphling. We have Chicken MC on the Abaddon, who looks like he is indeed going offlane. They've already given him an Observer Ward. We've got I Annihilate on that Tinker.
He might get picked off here actually as
Yeah,
he's running
Jay
into
on the
Vision. They do have the enchant, but no.
30 seconds.
They won't be able to actually get this kill. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and
Are
this
they-
last one is Jay on the Disruptor.
Okay. That was kind of close, although I don't think they have like almost no stuns early on. Honestly, with Rasta went Ether Shock, so that really was like the nail in the coffin for that kill, but no big deal. Move on. He didn't get his ward down, and a casual Ether Shock, I kind of like that. They're just going to continue to burn through his regen, and now with these right clicks, Triken MC is just taking so much damage already in this offlane, and I've talked about this in games before, but as an offlane player, when you have to burn through a lot of regen early, it just kind of feels gross, because you want to have that regen to rely on so you can trade it for experience, and if you trade it at the beginning for no experience, then it's wasted regen.
Yeah, as an offlaner, you really want to be able to use your regen to get you to 2, and then by then you're getting the lane's going to push towards in your favor, and you'll be able to get 3. But
Interesting, actually, it's not a mid Night Stalker, it's a carry Night Stalker with a mid sniper. I think this is a better decision against the Tinker. I think that's why the sole reason they're doing that is because the Tinker can obviously blind the Night Stalker and just abuse the lobbed range of Tinker's attack animation and really just consistently zone him out. But this way, Night Stalker gets the guaranteed farm to be that mid-game tempo controller that they really need.
yeah, it looks like this was just an adaptation, a change to what they were originally planning to do with that Night Stalker. But well, I mean, obviously they picked the Night Stalker into the Tinker with this in mind.
They might try to go
last
for the
time.
kill here, as they do have the Void getting the slow off on him. He does have another Aphotic Shield to remove the enchant, and it looks like they're just going to go ahead and use this Wildkin Tornado to get a lot of slow and damage, but there goes the double slow, and with the Ether Shock and the right clicks, it might be enough, but no, the salve goes off. But again, that's a salve, and they might choose to push off with this. No, they don't. Or they do. They do have the Wildkin Aura, and I think that's a good decision, because it's 3 armor for the creeps, and Abaddon is really low mana, so He can pull, yeah, he pulls half of this creep wave, but they still have these 4 creeps to work with to really do a lot of damage, and even using another Ether Shock just to keep his health down, and tower
Dire's
dropping
bottom
400
tower
HP.
is under siege.
Yeah, they got some good damage in the tower there. Not as much as I kind of expected them to get there, as they went for more harass on the Abaddon, but
He's taking so much damage from this Void spam, and I really like that. He's just using the clarity he got from his supports. I think he should wait till the next level, because level 2 Void does a ton more damage. Well, I guess not a ton more, 70 more, but it adds up every level, definitely. Void becomes one of my favorite nukes in the game.
yeah, especially at the start, it's just so spammable.
The mini stun is probably my favorite part overall of it. I mean, the slow, it's a mini stun slow nuke all in one. It's just awesome.
The Enchantress and the Rasta have smoked.
And what kind of bear? They have a Hell Smasher. With this, they do not have a... Do they have Shackles? Yes, they do have Shackles coming from the Shadow Shaman. It looks like they're going to wrap around. They should wait for the Shadow Shaman to get in position, and that's exactly what Andoy's going to do. He's going to move into the fog here, and if he's smart, he should let his Rasta run into the fog with him, and they should just come through the tower, because if you run this way, it's actually going to give him enough time to run this way, and you might actually just miss.
Courier coming in too.
Oh, this might be
It's
a
not
courier
upgraded.
snipe. This is not good. Andoy moving in. They see the courier that does get upgraded
Oh, it's
immediately,
upgraded.
but they have this slow, and this should be the kill with the Hellbear smash. This should be the first blood going on to the Tinker. The sniper moves up, and with another right click, it's enough with that headshot. Decent RNG, gonna net him a kill, and first blood going to the sniper is exactly how this game wants to start for Jigga.
Yeah, that was a good rotation.
Too bad they didn't get the courier there, but that was honestly heads-up play by the supports, seeing the Enchantress, and immediately upgrading the courier, because it was past 3 minutes, so they could have upgraded it a while ago.
Yeah.
And honestly, now that the supports are out of this lane, Nightstalker's getting zoned out a decent amount, and the Abaddon bought another salve, so he could go ahead and stay in this lane, and basically zone out the Nightstalker.
He has been getting his XP though.
Yes.
He's at level in Clockwork. He's almost a full level ahead of Clockwork.
That's
Which
just the power of
as a
Abaddon.
dire offlane is kind of impressive in its own right. Mind you, he is only against a dual lane. But
Well, now they're going to go for the wraparound here as Nightstalker is pushing out this lane. They might want to just go through the river, but it looks like a little bit of miscommunication as Rasta and Enchantress are running different directions. He does have the option to get the Void off here, but there is a salve in the inventory. And Rasta and Enchantress are just not going to get anything out of this Smoke Ink if they don't make a decision and just commit to it. And it looks like they will, but now they're going to be revealed and they're not going to be able to actually get this kill. Or maybe they will. Abaddon did step up just a second, but they choose not to commit. And I don't know if you saw that, but they just kind of like ran back and forth in the river over here for a
Yeah.
good 20 seconds.
well, I think the original plan was to go mid, but then the Abaddon was playing really aggressive on bottom, and then it looked like the Nightstalker was fine, so they started going mid, and they started.
Oh, they might be able to get the kill on the Abaddon here as he is staying up. He is going to lose his Aphotic Shield, but now this Shadow Shaman is taking a lot of damage. Bottle charges are up on Nightstalker. It looks like they're just cutting him around, and it looks like with the Void, they will be able to get the Shackles onto him, taking quite a bit of damage, and the Aftershock. It looks like he's going to try to go for the kill on the Rasta, and he should be able to get it with the Miscoil, and that's that kill, but he does trade himself to the carry. And Derp now in this lane, maybe he might get picked off as they do have a sentry. Will they get the net? No, not in range for the net. Doesn't quite activate it quick enough, even though he did get that sentry ward down. And Derp will go ahead and move out, and we will have a pause here to go ahead and collect the thoughts of this game. But overall right now, Whitebeard is leading the CS chart in a pretty major way. The Nightstalker safe lane is definitely being impacted by this Abaddon's play. But that being said, I mean, what do you think the state of the game is right now, Niz? Because the Golden Experience graphs are saying it's straight up even.
Well, I mean, obviously, with when you look at the last hits, your first impression is that this dire side is going to be a little bit ahead, and they weren't very greedy. And
Dire's top tower
the
is
Radiant
under
team
attack.
hasn't done a ton to punish that greed yet, but like you said, you look at the gold graph and it's even. So I don't know how, but it's even.
Actually, Abaddon's going to get a Dark Troll Summoner over here. A little bit of a mistake coming out of this Enchantress. That's actually... One thing to note, too, is Enchantress creeps only give 50% of the experience. They don't actually give the full experience. Unlike the, what do you call it? Holy Persuasion from Chen. They do give full experience bounty though, or a gold bounty. And Enchantress getting good levels though. She is going, instead of for the untouchable build, I really like that she's going for the healing this game. There is a lot of magical burst damage, and it's important to change up your build. And actually the Clockwork, no, is not in trouble. No level out of, or skills out of Jay yet. Definitely a
Yeah,
smart
he's
decision
holding.
here. He's holding out here, but now they have the rotation, and JNS does move up. He does a decent amount of damage, and they burst down Whitebeard, and all of that CS that I was talking about before does not matter anymore, and now Jay is going to be caught out as well. But honestly, with that juke, absolutely amazing juke, is going to be able to get a salve off on himself. It might not be enough, as Night Stalker still does have that Void and the Silence and the Urn, so if he chooses to use that and the right clicks, it should be enough, and honestly, that Urn is enough. He's blocking. Derp does not have enough for the stun, so he can't get out, and now the Silence is going to prevent him from even using his Sandstorm, and he does actually eventually get enough mana for this Burrow Strike, but now the bottle charges. Might be enough. He turns around and gets that kill. Does he throw the Urn? He does, and now he might be able to kite away, and the Barfling gets juked in the fog. Does get away, but the Waveform at the last second to headshot him right there. But
guys
Jigga
were
gets
so
so
big.
much out of that. Like, 2 heroes just got 3
There
kills.
they are.
Or 2 kills, right? 2 heroes got 3 kills, because they killed the Morphling, and then they killed... No, they didn't kill the Sand... I guess it was 2 for 2, right? Am I crazy, or did I miss another kill?
No, they did kill the Sand King.
No, yeah, okay, so it was 3. So 3 for 2, yeah. So very, very well played. Sorry, I wasn't adding up there in my head for some reason. It was just, I just got super excited. That was great plays, just after another from different players. It wasn't one player really showing that fight. Definitely each player doing great things by themselves. And now Night Stalker might be able to get this kill. There is the borrowed time, so it's almost impossible to kill Abaddon now unless you have multiple heroes to continually lock him down, even after borrowed time is used. And that's where Hex is going to become really important. And great play here by Andoy, denying that rune, and now the hook in onto Triken MC. However, this is going to do more damage to heal him than it is to actually do damage to him. But with the continual pop from this, it might be enough with the assassinate coming in as well. They have the 3 levels in rockets, but it looks like he should be able to just run away. And now with 4 heroes here, they could push this lane if they choose to, and I think that's the smart decision, because right now Whitebeard is also pushing top, and they're going to need to deal with that pressure. But they do just spread out and go back to farming. And golden experience, definitely in favor of Jigga, but back down to 0. This game is just back and forth, and honestly living up to its hype right now. 9 minutes into this game, the scoreboard says Jigga's winning, but honestly, the state of the game is relatively even, considering the Tinker and the Morphling's farm. And these stacks that Tinker is now having access to, and you can see his gold just start to skyrocket.
Yeah, this is unfortunately what happens. no matter how well or poorly Tinker does at the start of the game, his team always seems to get him stacks.
Well, maybe Abaddon might go down. He does have borrowed time back up again, so they won't be able to burst him down. He does get the borrowed timed off, and now the Night Stalker throws out his ultimate, and he goes onto the Silence, onto Annihilate. Annihilate did TP in. Won't be able to get off any spells. He does throw off the rocket now, and I believe that is only a level 1 rocket. Won't do that much damage, and now the Sniper is in here as well, and they have the Centaur stun. They do throw down to the kinetic field, and in the top lane, the Clockwork does go down, but they will get the other off lane, the Abaddon, so a decently even trade. And the power of the Radiant will allow them to push here if they continue to, and that's where that trade-off probably becomes a little bit more for the Radiant. But honestly, this tower is going to fall as well. So actually, I think the Dire got more out of this.
Yeah, and just a trade like this is actually going to be more beneficial to the Dire side right now anyways. If they're going to be trading towers. And it's not even
Night
gonna
Stalker
become a
with
tower
this
trade.
haste rune might try to go on Jay. Changes his mind. We're looping back middle. Looks like he's going to back up again, as we do see the Tinker going into the jungle, but the Night Stalker is hot on his tail. Does the Night Stalker choose to go for this? It looks like he is going to go for this. He does throw out the Void. TP support does come in, but this will stop the Tinker from farming the jungle. It is helpful a little bit.
Good restraint shown by the Night Stalker there.
Yeah, he could have just gone balls to the wall and tried to turn that. She's all that. Might get picked off by the Abaddon, but great TP timing, knowing that Abaddon's not going to be able to stun him. No stuns on that hero, so it is a guaranteed TP to safety.
The Sand King is real close to his Blink Dagger, only 100 gold away. So look for him to...
And look, we already have a actual shotgun build coming out. Normally, when you say shotgun, It used to mean literally rushing the Ethereal Blade. Now it's more synonymous with getting the Lincolns before. But we do see an actual shotgun rush here coming out of Whitebeard instead of the E-Blade or the Lincolns first. I think it'll work out great though, considering his timing already. He's at what 270 or 2,700 from getting his Eagle Song.
Yeah, that's a little surprising actually, but I think it will work out great. Maybe it's. I think it's actually just a really good choice. I typically don't like rushing
Radiant's bottom
shotgun,
tower
but
is under attack.
I think it's actually going to work really, really well in this game.
Well, Jigga needs to get a lot more out of this laning phase right now. They are starting to fall big time in the experience and gold graph. We can see that the laning is already going in favor of the Dire side in a big way. 2k gold, 2k experience. And now with this smoke, this is exactly what they need. However, the Disruptor is the one sitting in the lane, while Annihilate is farming the jungle safely. So Tinker will not be able to be ganked. However, this Disruptor should be in trouble, as they do throughout the Shackles. With the Assassinate, it should be a guaranteed kill. But he does immediately throw the ulti, and this might be the death of the Shadow Shaman, as there's no way for him out of this. The Mistcoil will finish the kill. Meanwhile, at the, up above the fight, the Epicenter will go off and clean up the Enchantress in the background. JNS, though, does go for his hook, gets onto Whitebeard, and Whitebeard not able to get off the waveform. Will he get it off? He does. It gets it to safety. It looks like Night Stalker's coming in as well, but now the Tinker is here for the Dire side, and with numbers advantage, there's no way that the Radiant side can continue this. And it looks like they're even going to decide to push the issue themselves. They do have the waveform, but looks like Whitebeard's not going to use it. A lot of right clicks coming out of the Sniper, but not enough to get the kill. The glimpse back onto the Night Stalker with the playpin will keep him in there. But now the Rasta's back, and he uses the Aethershock as well as the wards. That traps 2 in. He gets the Shackles onto Whitebeard. He's running out of mana. He does pop that Ghost Scepter as well. Doesn't have enough mana for the waveform, but now JNS falls, and so does the Shadow Shaman. With the Assassinate going out on Whitebeard, it's not enough, and now the Enchantress is chasing out. Will she be able to get this kill? No, the uphill miss. No, she does actually get the kill, and now Sniper chasing with that right click. Does he get enough headshots to get this kill? Doesn't look like it, because in the background a triple kill. Actually, he does get the kill, but a triple kill going on to Tinker. And I think that just went in favor of the Dire, because Tinker got a ton out of that.
Yeah, it definitely did. That was an incredibly hectic fight, but the Dire was definitely coming out ahead there. They were just getting the better trades. And although it kind of started falling apart a bit there, the Morph did live. And unfortunately they lost the Abaddon at the end there, but even if it draws even, which it didn't in that case, Dire was ahead. But even if it draws even, it's still advantage Dire. So Dire's actually looking very, very good right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely.
They can't come crashing down quickly though. They can't definitely slip up and think that they're comfortable.
Well, Night Stalker is now not able to zone lane at all against the Abaddon, and that's just the power of Abaddon against melee carries. Night Stalker not able to gank either right now, and now it looks like Disruptor's in here. He will throw out the static. I can't even speak right now. He does get the glimpse off. Now throws down the Static Storm into the playpin. Will be enough to clean up the Night Stalker. Meanwhile, his team in the middle lane is pushing this T1 Tinker, TPing in. Will get here, does have level 4 rockets, and that blink throws it out, dealing quite a bit of damage to the Sniper and Rasta. March as well will prevent this push from actually coming to fruition. Throws out the rockets again. Looks like Cogs up in the top trying to zone things out, but a great Burrow Strike snipes out the Clockwork. Looks like continual chasing, but now Chaikin MC with this haste rune says, let's fight. Runs in, does get shackled up by the Rasta, but with another Aphotic Shield coming up, they can continue this push, and now the Dire side says, you have the early game advantage, but we want to pressure you. Hook does come out onto the Tinker, but Glimpse pulls back the Clockwork, and now they're diving in again. Derp gets another Burrow Strike as well as the Playpin, cutting in JNS. Chaikin MC taking quite a bit of damage, but Just Beyonce will clean up the Morphling, and he's down. Assassinate comes out, Chaikin MC at low health. Will they get the kill? No, the misclick from the Sniper, attacking a creep instead of the hero, and dies to the March of the Machines. So Sniper and Rasta for a Sand King and Morphling, and again, I think this comes back to the principle, if it breaks even, it's a Dire advantage, because if Tinker or Morphling survives, Dire side's in a great position.
Yeah, absolutely. These fights have just been so hectic.
Keeping up with them is fun, let me put it that way.
I'm just mouse wheeling back, getting a huge a bird's eye view of the whole fight, and just trying to catch everything that's going on. But yeah, Dire somehow keeps performing well in these team fights. You know, the Tinker actually did a really good job positioning himself well in that team fight to make sure he got a really good March of the Machines, and it was doing a ton of damage there. And
Oh, Hex onto Morphling. This might turn into a kill, although the Tinker is botting in now. And now Waveform is going to come forward from the Morphling, and that's going to be a kill onto the Rasta. Will they be able to follow that up onto the Sniper? It doesn't look like it, but Hex, or Hook onto Annihilate will get the kill, and now Whitebeard is in a little bit of trouble. The Playpin from the Disruptor will stall this out. Assassinate comes out as well as the Silence onto Disruptor, but the Sand King channels the Epicenter, but the Rocket from the Clockwork cancels his blink, so he won't be able to go in, and Nightstalker does fall from this Andoy running in, but a great timing on that Ghost Scepter will prevent the damage coming from her Impetus, and now the chase continues as they do have a glimpse that will be used. 8 wand charges are available, but the Waveform gets the kill just beyond, staying in the background, attacking the creeps and not actually getting a lot done. Derp does blink forward, but doesn't have a stun or anything to follow up. She's All That is now in here, but Whitebeard could choose to dive forward. Doesn't look like he will, and now this pressure on the tower is becoming very real, and Jigga is just honestly they're kind of getting dominated in fights where they shouldn't be, because the Dire side is just taking the initiative and getting the fights the way they want them to go, and when that happens and you have this kind of lineup, you're going to win the game because you win late.
Yeah, there's a lot of control, and there's a lot of control on the Dire side, as well as just a lot of survivability, and it's just taking too long. Jig is struggling just a little bit to finish their kills, and that's resulting in them kind of just getting kited or going a little too far to try to get those kills. But yeah, Dire's just playing really well. The Sand King's been playing really well, and that Disruptor, Jay on the Disruptor, almost went down, but he stayed alive, and he was able to make some good plays to ensure some more kills. So he's also been playing really well.
Well,
They've all been playing well.
I definitely agree, and the siege of this T1 will begin as the wards are thrown down. March is running as well, but there is no back door, so as long as these wards are alive, this tower will fall. Rockets as well as the next March is coming out. Clockwork dropping low down to 400 HP. The Tinker will return to base to heal, and this tower will go down, as they do net a tower without any deaths, but I think they need a little bit more than that right now. I think they need to get towers and kills and really push an advantage so they can deal with this Morphling and Tinker.
Yeah, they definitely wanted to take that tower a long time ago. But unfortunately now was their opportunity to take it, and they got it. And thankfully for them, it didn't end up being a big team fight, because those actually haven't been going too favorably for them. But it gives them a little bit of gold. They can get some items going, and hopefully be able to get this game back under control and continue.
I would like to also
getting close to 2 items. You got Clockwork close to his Blade Mail, and Enchantress isn't exactly close, but she's about a recipe away from a mech.
Well, and I'd like to point out at this point, along with that thought, that Nightstalker is starving. He just finished his drums 19 minutes into the game, and this is really where you want to see an Armlet, a BKB coming up really soon for Nightstalker. He is an amazing hero in my opinion, but when he is not ahead, that's where that hero truly becomes weak, because he's a tempo dominating hero, and that's it. And that's not to say that makes him bad, it's just he needs to do that to be a good hero, and it's not happening right now. And Tinker is just applying so much pressure to the map, and now JNS in the top lane, I was about to miss this, does get glimpsed back into the the Morphling as well as the Sand King, and it looks like he might be able to live as the Sandstorm does come out from Sand King, but now he is caught out and he does Burrow Strike into the woods, but he is actually in a spot where they're able to see him and they're chasing him in. They do have the follow-up Void coming in just a second, but the Sandstorm again, and now he's going to be able to get the Blink and will be able to live. And meanwhile, all this is going on. Abaddon does get the tower, and Burrow Strike goes again. Doesn't look like they'll be able to get this kill unless no headshot, no right click, and he TPs away. So I think the nerves and the pressure is starting to get to Jig a little bit. They're making small mistakes, like not always having detection against these kind of heroes, like they were kind of blocking each other. Just little things are starting to add up right now. They will pressure this T1 though. I think that's, like you said, it's that bottom T1 needed to fall, and as well this top T1 really needs to fall. And they will get it down, which gives them a slight tower advantage, but they need more than a slight advantage, because the golden experience graph is saying that they have no advantage at all.
Yeah, and unfortunately the window for victory keeps closing, and it's closing faster and faster as this Tinker gets...
Even Morphling, he's 500 from E-Blade. That's actually an insane timing.
Yeah,
21 minute after Tradikila. and he's almost there.
Even Abaddon's not even doing bad. Everyone on this dire side has got a good amount of gold.
Hook will come out and miss.
Six
Ooh,
to
J and
stroke.
S. And at this level, he's not even level 11 yet. And Clock's hook is just such a long cooldown right now. And the glimpse back on She's All That. Great play by the Disruptor, abusing the way the glimpse works. I really like that. And they get that free kill. And when you're playing Disruptor well and you're ahead and the other team is not committing, you can abuse their hesitation so easily by just glimpsing one target back and literally just abusing the fact that they're not committing to things. Assassinate will come out. Looks like it does get cancelled. Turned back onto Whitebeard as he will take quite a bit of damage from this, but they just keep cancelling it as he could wait for him to dodge it. They will throw out that Derp, yeah, in the side does get the Sandstorm and the Blink out, and now Chaikin MC's ultimate will be borrowed time will be used. So doesn't look like they'll have it for the rest of this fight, and now they want to turn this. The Assassinate comes out on to the Abaddon, but it's not enough. Whitebeard as well that are in charge, taking him down. But meanwhile, bottom tower, Sand King unfortunately channeling the epicenter, but he already started it. No reason to cancel it. It would have ended anyways. But bottom tower taking damage during this. Top lane getting pushed in during this. And Tinker is just like, hey guys, have fun. I'm farming.
That's what he does, you know? Unless you're really going to commit to a fight, he's not going to show up there, and he's just going to keep farming it elsewhere on the map, and you know, he's actually leveling his Dagon. He's up to level 2 right now, about to get level 3.
Yeah, he could sell his branch for the level 3. And there's the E-Blade. They already have one up online. And if Whitebeard and Annihilate are on the same page about the usage of both of those, it could just devastate the other team. Because bye-bye Rasta, bye-bye. Even at this point, the Clockwork could be one-shotted by this. The Sniper could be one-shotted by this. The only hero who's not one-shottable right now is the Night Stalker. And even that, 1500 HP at 23 minutes, it seems like a lot because he has drums and treads and an urn. But that's empty HP. What I mean by that is he doesn't have an armlet, he doesn't have a BKB, he doesn't have any like big impact items. He has a bunch of minor mid-game, like I guess stable jack of all trades, master of none items, right? He doesn't have anything to really I guess bring out the strength of his hero.
Yeah, it's actually a little weird. You think of
Mask of Madness popped by the Abaddon. It looks like he wants to go on JNS. The cogs will go down, but the E-Blade onto the Night Stalker. He will get bursted, and now the Disruptor throws down the ult, preventing JNS from getting any spells off, but they are all on cooldown. Assassinate will come out. Looks like he cancels it. Whitebeard taking quite a bit of damage, but JNS might go down. The urn is used. The War Trap is perfect to block in the Abaddon, but it's an Abaddon. They're not going to be able to get to kill him, and it looks like Sniper is running away, but in the background, the Enchantress gets absolutely annihilated by Tinker, considering his name is Annihilate. Looks like they actually might get the kill on him as he does get trapped in the cogs. Great play there. And the Night Stalker's buyback is actually changing the direction of this fight as they do clean up the Disruptor, and now the Sand King is in a little bit of an interesting position. JNS could go for the kill here as they do have the Assassinate coming out, and it's enough. And that turnaround is exactly what they need. Maybe the Void will stop this TP, and it does. He does have the silence to follow it up as well, but he already did get the strength more off, so it's not like he's actually going to be able to kill him. The rocket does come out, not in range, but he doesn't have any mana. They're going to choose to dive this, and I really think they should. They should not stop chasing. Annihilate does buy back. Looks like Night Stalker's still going to go for it anyways. This might be a little bit risky as he might get picked off, and he doesn't get the kill. His team, I really feel like Just Beyonce needed to commit with him there, but
he died as he was casting Void too. For the kill.
Honestly, that's a good buyback from Tinker, but in this situation, the Radiant needed that kind of fight, but they needed just a little bit more, like that kill on the complete team wipe. Or, you know, maybe if the Sniper was there, maybe there's a chance that they would have turned around on the Tinker, you know, get the silence, the Void after sorry, you can Void the Morphling to finish him off because he's already max strength. So then you just have the Sniper focus the Tinker to throw him off and potentially turn around that fight, but that's a little risky. I don't know. Interesting state of the game right now.
Yeah, it's definitely not a very standard game, to say the least. And these team fights have been really hectic. There's been a lot of stuff going on.
I just turned to the net worth and Tinker.
Incoming.
Yeah. He's
Absolutely
starting to run
insane.
away with it.
And actually, one thing I want to point out before you say anything is that he's actually one thing that you guys who want to learn how to play Tinker. One thing he's doing to speed up his rotations into the jungle is putting his Dagon in his inventory every single time he comes back to base, and it reduces his mana pool by about 400 to 500, and really speeds up how fast he can bottle up. And they will go in for the Roche here, and with Chaikin MC taking, he's actually just going to go straight into the Basher after this. And Abaddon A lot of people will say he's an amazing support hero, but you know what? When he gets the right items, he's one hell of a carry hero too.
Yeah, and obviously he doesn't have to carry all the weight of this team, but he's got enough gold now where he can just be upfront. He's no longer a squishy support. He's no longer a support that, you know, you don't really have to fear as much. This is a big body in a team fight, and he's got a ton of versatility, a ton of stuff that he can.
They might be able to get this Tinker. They do throw out the Assassinate, so they have vision on him. It will cancel his blink for about 3 more seconds, but now the rearm, as he should allow him to TP away, and he does TP over there, but maybe they can get vision. No, they don't get vision, and so they won't get that kill, and Tinker gets away safely. And again, seeing that Dagon go straight into his inventory. Dagon level 4 up now, but speaking of that, the Enchantress will get caught out in the jungle, and so will the support. Epicenter will come as well as a 2-man Burrow Strike, and both supports are now down. And the Disruptor Lucian is following JNS, and he does use his cogs, but he loses a little early and gets Glimpse back, and he does hook back into Whitebeard. Maybe we'll get this kill, but there is the Aegis, so it's not that big of an impact of a kill. And now losers are not losing this game. They are pushing hard with their late game lineup, and they are in control at this point, and there needs to be something special coming out of Jigga right now.
Yeah, they picked a very greedy lineup, and they're off to a really good
Oh, Night Stalker getting dropped down.
start. And their mid game was very strong, and now they're just controlling the tempo of this game, and at a timing when they shouldn't be controlling the point of this game. And it's not that they're doing it wrong; they're just that far ahead right now, and they're making sure their dominance is known.
Definitely a good way to put it. So we will see the Yasha coming out of Morphling. He's not going to opt back to go back into that Linken's. He is going to continue down this offensive trend, going for a Manta style, a very good offensive utility item. And Morphling is switching into max agility here, and they did have vision of him rotating here, so looks like he will be able to replicate out, just kind of messing with their heads a little bit.
On the plus side, prior to Enchantress getting picked off at the old Easy Camp, she did purchase her mech.
20 minutes into the game.
So that's a plus for the Radiant. But
I feel bad when we start saying things like that, because it's not like Jigga is bad players. Again, it's just
no.
They've made mistakes, and in Dota and in any competitive game, the higher you get up at the higher levels of competition, it's about smaller and smaller mistakes making the bigger and bigger differences. And that's where it becomes really hard and frustrating. But Jigga still has a chance here. JNS does have this Inven Ruse. Unfortunately, Chaikin MC is not the target you want to go on at all. I mean, he does have Borrow Time, but Whitebeard is a great target for them to go on. Getting that Aegis out of the fight would be very useful, especially if he comes back and he tries to do full strength. When he comes back full strength, he can't actually immediately use that E-Blade, and it looks like the hook will fly, but it misses, and unfortunately that means it'll be on cooldown for the rest of the fight. And now Tinker takes that as his opportunity to go in. Mask of Madness is popped by the Abaddon, and he'll just go ahead and start chunking away at these wards, and that cooldown becomes free farm for the Abaddon. Maybe they'll get the kill on the Night Stalker. He does get Force Staffed away and does get glimpsed back. Will go down. JNS does throw down the cogs and will get right clicked down by Whitebeard here, and 2 heroes down, both the Night Stalker and the Clockwork, critical heroes to their base defense on the sidelines for 40 plus seconds as Tinker is already pressing bottom.
What happened there? Didn't the Sand King blinked in and stunned the Night Stalker, didn't he? But it didn't cancel the TP. Did he miss?
Yeah, he missed, I think. I'm not entirely sure. I think somebody Force Staffed him, but I don't see a Force Staff on the map, so yeah, he just missed.
But Disruptor was there with the glimpses. He has been all game.
Yeah, very good play.
He's been spot on with the glimpses.
And I like to see that, as Disruptor being one of my favorite / best support heroes for myself. I love the way that Glimpse works, and when you abuse it well, you get lots of little pickoffs, and greedy lineups become not so greedy. And the siege of the first T3 tower is being made by the Dire side in this game 30 minutes into the game. They do have the Chaikin MC in the front lines with that Abaddon. Annihilate blinks in and just absolutely eviscerates the Enchantress. She will fall hook into the Abaddon. Deals quite a bit of damage, but they turn around onto the Night Stalker, dealing quite a bit of damage. Borrowed Time will be procced as he heals up his entire health, and JNS is down. Ramsadel, Night Stalker, is taking so much damage. Whitebeard and almost no life, but he's not going to die because he has that Aphotic Shield as well as the Mistcoil, and he's just going to continue to go ham. And with that Glimpse, that's a team wipe, and that should be the tower and the game, and that is the GG. Honestly, just a great game, and I think it was a little bit of nerves from Jigga, honestly, because there was 2 or 3 ganks in the early game where they were just kind of running back and forth, like Andoy and She's All That just weren't on the same connection as far as what they needed to do in the early game, and if they just would have gotten those ganks off and made decisions, I think they would have had the mid game they wanted. But as it stands, those few mistakes cost them the mid game advantage they needed to win this game. What are your thoughts, Niz?
Unfortunately, that's what comes with the strategy. You know, as you put a lot of pressure on yourself to execute, and when you do make those small mistakes, the pressure just keeps building and keeps building. Every time you make a mistake, there's more and more pressure on you because you're getting closer and closer to that point where it's going to be a real uphill battle to win the game. And unfortunately, they made a few mistakes, but you know, the Dire side also played incredibly well. So it wasn't just mistakes on the Radiant side; it was also the Dire side playing really well and capitalizing on those mistakes. So
Completely agree with that, Niz. And we will be going ahead and getting into the next game when I believe our next game will be Jolly Judas versus the winner of whatever round before. That being said, I appreciate all you guys tuning around. I really want to say thank you to all you guys who have been here throughout all of my frame drop issues. It really means a lot that you guys sat through our cast and watched all that. It's really awesome, you guys, so thank you. For those of you who have just joined us and stuff like that, if you're enjoying Niz, please check out his Twitter at Nizcast and his Twitch /Nizcast. And also check out my Twitter at Dotaraptors, my YouTube /user/Dotaraptors, and my Twitch. You're already here, so just click that follow button if you're enjoying this. That would be awesome and helps us so much. But that being said, guys, we'll be getting into Jolly Judas versus the winner of the previous round. And that game will be coming up next on this stream. So stay tuned, and thank you so much, and we will see you guys in a few minutes.